Hello and welcome back to the veg garden. Today I'll be doing a garden tour for you just to see what's going on now that I've had a bit of a break. The reason for the break was I had a lot of exams and other important issues that I had to resolve and sort. So now that they're all finished and everything's out of the way and I've got a bit more free time, I'll be getting back to the YouTube now from now on, doing a weekly video just to sort of show what's happening and show some different ideas. So I've got a lot growing up the top garden, as you can see behind me. There's quite a lot going on. Still some beds that are pretty bare, or you know, everything's a bit behind. But all in all, I'm quite happy at the moment with what's growing. So I'll just get into showing you what's happening now. So as you can see in this bed, I've got a lot of stuff going to seed. This is chard, and there's some leeks in here, just to flower to make some seeds. And then there's wildflowers here, and nasturtium. And then over here I've got some perennials coming. This is thyme and marjoram and a bit of hyssop. And then there's the alyssum, gold dust alyssum, these are perennial, and chamomile. And up here I've got some brassicas ready to go out. And then round here we've got the rouge crapidine beetroot. And then in the tunnel then I've got some peppers and tomatoes right at the very back. And then there's some good healthy borage here as well. She's flowering already. And then if we come around the back here, I've got in this sort of neglected corner really for this year. These are some broad beans, peas and nasturtium for seed. And then some little trays then starting things off. This is lettuce, some turnips and just various different bits, some dwarf peas and beans. And then there's a bit of beetroot in the back there. If we wrap around here, there's some mint in the tile there. It's doing really well. And then this is parsnip and turnip intercropped. Hopefully the turnip will be pulled out and then the parsnip will take its place. And then there's some broad beans here. And then some really nice healthy looking parsnips and beetroot. And some sugar snap peas here. These are finishing up. There's only a few pods left and there's no more flowers to come. And then there's some turnips being sown roughly in line with that little velcro strap there actually, quite conveniently, just down there, that half. And then this half hasn't been planted yet. Some beetroot, new potatoes, some sugar snap peas. I'll just need to plant up around the outside of the peas. And then this is kale, and there's some turnips growing here quite nicely. Where did I see them? Are they? Just there, look. Where's my finger? There. And there's quite a few down this middle here. And then there's some lavender on the end of every bed here in this area. This is some what's that stuff called? Red vein sorrel. It's quite nice in salads. It's quite a big leaf. Quite a lot here as well. Quite aggressive, well not aggressive, but very vigorous perennials. They grow quite well. Obviously in this area of the garden they've done really well. And then there's some beetroot here, chard, some onions down that bed. And then we've got not looking good bed. There's some peas, some pots of lettuce really going out. But that was lettuce that wasn't doing very good to start off with, so I should really get it out quick. And there's some onions, a bit more beetroot, some Jerusalem artichokes, and then these are 10-foot tall climbing pea, as you can see, and they do really nice sweet peas, sweet tasty peas. There's some calendula come there, self-sown somehow, and borage here. And then this is celeriac. I planted 2 rows, but only a few have come up. Because slugs have been terrible this year. And I've put all these brassicas out, and so far I haven't suffered any losses. So there's some broccolis and cabbages, and there's some sprouts there. These 2 beds, the end of this bed and this bed haven't been planted up yet. As you can see, there's a lot of cow manure in this and goat manure. And then there's some also a bit of coffee grounds just to give it a bit more fertility. And then the terraces have changed quite a bit. I've put more manure on them to boost the fertility of the potatoes. And I've moved all the buckets to here because this bucket garden has now been emptied to produce this, which is a it's going to be a bottle greenhouse eventually. I've just left the bath in here for now because I want these to crop and finish before I empty the bath to move it out of here. And then the plan is to do this into my propagation space. So there'll be another tunnel to put stuff in again, right? Should be quite handy. So now we'll go to the tunnel. So we're in the main polytunnel now. As you can see, I've got some cucumbers down this side. And then there's 2 beds of tomatoes. So there's 4 rows essentially, because there's 2 rows to a bed. It's getting really tight down here to walk down, but some really nice tomatoes starting to develop. So as you can see, there's a tigerella there. There's stripes on that one. And then there's like ones that are more like heart shaped then. So they're quite nice. And then there's an aubergine here. I've never grown them before, so we'll see. And then my cucamelons on a new frame this year, because I'm also trialing cucamelon understories. So as you can see, that's a cucamelon leaf there. And I'm hoping to train them up my tomatoes. As you can see, there's loads of tomatoes on these. Still early yet, but yeah, there's quite a lot on them. And then there's a zucchini or courgette in the back. And then these are melons. And then there's a loofah, but that hasn't done too good, so we'll see. I might replace that with something else. And then there's a radish in the corner flowering and doing seed pods. I need the seeds of radish because I want a lot soon. And then there's some nice marigolds. These are really tall. I've had to side shoot a lot of these because they're over 3 foot tall in the tunnel. But as you can see, they do really nice, vibrant flowers. You could even use these as cut flower. There's so much of a stalk on them. So yeah. And there's quite a lot of, I think there's 30 varieties in here, maybe 34. Because the other ones are outside and stuff. But there's a total of 40 now around the place. So there's quite a lot of varieties. Some variegated tomatoes here even, which are quite nice, as you can see, but they don't variegate all over and all the time. Just the odd place and the odd leaf that variegates, like that one there. Some of the leaves are just plain. And then the tomatoes will also be yellow with a slight variegation. It'd be quite nice to look at. And then there's a lot of calendula down there, or pot marigold. Like this one here, actually. Just nice yellowy orange flower there. So yeah, now I'll show you the bottom garden. Quick side note before I leave the bottom garden, this tunnel is full of ladybirds this year. As you can see, this one here is quite a young one because he's not fully red yet. And I've seen a lot of the little larvae about the place as well. And the pupae, I think it's called, the like in-between stage. So yeah, it's quite exciting to see all this little wildlife about the place. So I'll just have to get out the door now. So as you can see, the food forest is full of stuff now. There's fennel here that's growing all the way up through the apple tree. It's probably about 8 foot tall. There's some pear trees and stuff in here. Just the normal pears and apples. pears have got nothing on them this year. This plum in the back, it's got one little plum on him. It's still quite hard, it's not ready yet obviously. And then there's some nice herbs here. This is oregano or marjoram, and yeah, it's doing quite well. And then there's a pumpkin in the squash, crown prince squash in the compost bin. And they're growing really vigorously. Around here then we've got a blueberry who's got one little truss of fruit because the rabbits came through and ate all the bottom leaves off. Then we've got some stuff through here, there's a bit of ochre there, and some raspberries. We'll go through this little tunnel, and then the tayberries and loganberries are here, and these are really nice tasting fruit. There's loads here, I'm getting some every day. And the colours on them just taste amazing. And this is bronze fennel. Slightly darker, but the only problem is it gets aphids more than the other one. So I have to watch that. Hopefully covers all that. There's some strawberries here, these are all finished cropping now. June bearing. But I want the runners to root. I'll put some pots under these soon. Save all them. There's a Jerusalem artichoke then coming really aggressively and well. And then a bit of rhubarb. And chocolate mint. I made a mint sauce out of this a few weeks ago, so it's growing back now. And then my plum tree that I planted and some sage. And then this is a new patch. So I got runner beans, peas, row of peas, two rows of runner beans, a block of carrots, and there's a few rows of swedes, and then a block of potatoes. And that's all that's in here so far this year. Really talking, I should have planted it all in potatoes, because still quite a lot of weeds in here, so I've got to keep on top of the weeds. But hopefully the plan is to put a black sheet over it over winter to kill all the weeds off, and a bit of manure down, and that'll really feed the soil then and get it ready for growing next year. And then just whiz down here to the bucket garden, and then I've got it's like a two sisters bed. This is a squash in the middle and some beans, bamboo. This is a little herb bucket, herb sink. It's an old sink. So there's some hyssop, I took that cutting. The aphids this year are massive, look at them. It's huge. And there's some variegated sage and variegated mint. And then some beetroot on the terrace bed. Got the lavender. Some potatoes, other bits. These are pickle onions and some carrots germinating there. This corner's gone a bit wild. I need to prune all these back. Not sure whether to keep the blackberries or just prune them back because there's plenty in the hedge. And then I need to sort this out because this is where the Alison will be going next year. And the cherry tree. And then there's some tomatoes and peas here in these wire cages, and they're really vigorous. I haven't side shooted any of these, I've just left them grow because outside I don't really mind if there's a few side shoots on them, but they're really strong for, you know, tomatoes outside. And there's some kale here. There was onions here and they've depleted the compost quite a bit. So what I've done is I've mixed in worm castings, homemade worm castings, so they'll hopefully increase the fertility of this soil in there. And then this is a variegated tomato, the same one's in the tunnel. So as you can see, because it's outside, it hasn't got as much variegation on it at all. There's a bit down there, but it's as if the plant wants to focus all its energy on growing and not variegating, which is unusual. And these are meant to be beef steaks, but the flowers are really, really small, so maybe we'll see a miniature beef steak happen, and then I can save the seeds and see what happens. So yeah, that's them. And then my wall planter. There'll be another video about that soon. And then here I've got a hydroponic setup, I think it's called. I've just sort of boshed this up. It's just a bit of water with some Jadam liquid fertilizer and a tomato plant. And then right next to it, I got a tomato plant just in compost and soil. And the plan is just to compare the growth and taste of the tomatoes. And a bit of a polyculture bucket here. A tomato. There is a pepper in here somewhere, but the nasturtium has sort of engulfed it. Pepper there. So I have to take my word for it. That is a pepper. And there's a nasturtium here, and these flowers are really, really nice to look at. And then this is another pretty flower. This is asparagus pea. So I haven't tried these yet. I'm gonna try them soon. Maybe today I might try one. I know they're like gone past. I know that much. I know it said that you have to eat them like when they're small. So I might just save the seeds from these because they're really, really, really pretty flowers. Maybe if I just use them as an ornamental, if I don't like them for taste and eating. And there's another bucket here, separated with a bucket of shallots. So that's quite good. But these have been gonna get picked, and then there's 3 buckets empty so far. But I will be planting these up. Some mint and potatoes. These are just leftover potatoes from those rows, and it's amazing how well they've not done compared to the others. The others have already got potatoes growing, and these have got little things growing, and the leaves are all damaged. And then there's some shallots again, and a bit of mint here with some pansies. And then down here and get some of this mint. And go up here and go over here and hang on. And to get a bit for amaranth as well. Hang on. Here you go. Oh, Mum's gonna take it. Good. Don't let it. Quick, grab it. Oh, look, Mum's got it again. There you go. Those two are really friendly. So yeah, that's why the mint is sloped off here, because they nick it when it grows, but doesn't matter. This bucket is all for them. No, give a bit to Anna. Sneak a bit through there. No, Mum's got it again. Here, you take a leaf, quick. Take a leaf, quick. Not quite as fast as their mother. Then some bags of compost, as you do. Oh, this is a worm castings. Really nice stuff. It's quite wet, but if you let it dry out ever so slightly, just like compost, it's good. You don't want to dry out too much. And then back here, this is quite shaded because of the little tunnel. But there's some spring onions, and this is the only broccoli I've got on site, unfortunately, due to every pest under the sun eating them. Not sure what that is. Probably. Oh no, that's slugs again. Some Swiss chard here, and these sweet peas just smell amazing. These are for seed. I'm hoping that they'll do pods like they. Can't eat these, but the seeds would be nice. And then there's some red cabbage there. I need to sow more red cabbage, I think. No, I think I have some more. I'm not sure. Can't remember. So these are doing quite well. And then there's some leeks back here. These need to be planted out with an iron bar. And then a bit of wild bit back there. I need to sort that out. You can really tell that I haven't been on it due to GCSEs. There's a lot of iffy bits. And then if we just poke our heads into here, this is doing quite well. So there's all currant cuttings. There's a bit of musk down there growing. And then What have we got in here? Oh yeah, my overwintered peppers. As you can see, there's a big red pepper there, nearly ready. Some chilies. I'm pruning these into, as you can see, into like shapes. Just trying to experiment with what you can and can't do with peppers. So, like here now, this one with the massive hole in it somehow. I'm actually plaiting 3 together. This one here, I'm plaiting 2 together, just to see if you can like do chilies and peppers as house plants more than anything. And then there's some tomatoes here in pots. And this is lemon grass. Just turn the corner a bit more, and we've got corn. And it is the 3rd of July. It's not far off knee high, so tomorrow it'll be 4th of July, and it will be knee high, so that's all right. And then here I've got some mint cuttings off a friend. They're doing quite well. I've put them in pots, just pushed them in, just the individual cuttings. We'll see how they go. And then some amaranth here, tomatoes and cucumbers and courgette. And then there's some oca here again. This is a massive cabbage, but it doesn't like the heat. It's just still sort of floppy, but it's not like dry. The soil's wet. Don't think he likes the heat, that's all. And then here I've got a pineberry. That's the pineberry, yeah. I've got a pineberry there and a cranberry there. And these have got the runners going, and hopefully I'll have more plants next year. There's like a pineapple tasting strawberry and a raspberry tasting strawberry, I think. And then here I got some perennials. So these are like rocket, I think, wild rocket. They need to go out really. And then alpine strawberries, garlic, chives. So these are like flat leaf, meant to be soon. I think that's grass actually. And then moving on, we got, this is quite interesting. This is a true potato seed potato plant, TPS. And then some more lemongrass. And as you can see, there's a bit of sage going in there and some other bits. That's a Bristol Mawr ground cherry or Cape gooseberry. Then down here, a lot of these from seeds. There's lavenders and lemon, what do you call it, lemon balm, orange balm, asparagus from seed. And then these are geranium cuttings. There is another name for geraniums, but I can't remember. There's some lemon verbena and stuff like that, just cuttings. And there's some grapevines. This is a dwarf grape. I bought it recently and I've potted it up. And then there's what was this? A pink blueberry. A bit confusing, but nonetheless, it's a pink blueberry. And then these are some more hyssop cuttings that I took in March, and some what do you call it, rosemary. And here, I think these are called Weigella cuttings. Well, not obviously the cuttings, but Weigella. I think that's what it's called. And I've taken loads of different cuttings, and they look quite happy. They've perked up and they've got more leaves, so we'll see. I've put loads in the pot because I would like a few more. And that is it for the garden tour, I'm afraid. All of the garden covered. So yeah, we'll see what it's like in another month, I suppose.